watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted Best of Las Vegas. Give them a call, 702-727-9900. News 25 is also brought to you by Desert View Hospital. You can count on us.
Good evening. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2023. I'm Missy Kohler, and this is News 25. Today, the memorial for Nevada State Trooper Sergeant Michael Abat was held. This trooper was killed alongside fellow trooper Alberto Felix in a hit-and-run that occurred on the I-15 on November 30th. The procession began from Palms Mortuary in downtown Las Vegas as law enforcement escorted the fallen trooper's casket to Central Church in Henderson at 9:30 a.m. Abat was a state trooper for 10 years and was promoted to sergeant just weeks before he was tragically killed. News 25 sends our deepest condolences to the Abat and Felix families. The Israeli military detains Palestinian men in the north while southern Gaza continues to face a humanitarian crisis. RJ Camacho has this story.
On December 10th, the fierce fighting between Israel and Hamas militants continued across the Gaza Strip. According to reports, Israel has indicated that it's prepared to fight for months or even longer in order to defeat Hamas rulers. The UN Security General Antonio Guterres fears the worst for the civilians within the Gaza Strip, which 90% of its population has been displaced within the territory. The UN Security General went on to state that, "Expect public order to completely break down soon, and an even worse situation could unfold, including epidemic diseases and increased pressure for mass displacement into Egypt." However, Ilan Levy, a spokesman for the Israeli government, claims that allegations of mass displacement were outrageous and false. Qatar's Emir, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, who played a key role in mediation between Israel and Hamas during the war, has been attempting further mediation efforts in order to both stop the war and have all hostages released. However, he commented that they aren't seeing the same willingness that they saw in weeks prior. Jordan's foreign minister, Ayman Safadi, expressed concern over the war, saying that it's a war that cannot be won. He spoke further, stating that Israel has created an amount of hatred that will haunt this region and that it will define generations to come. Meanwhile, Israel has faced heavy resistance, especially in northern Gaza. Palestinian men have been detained by Israeli forces in an effort to search for any Hamas militants. According to Israel, only Palestinian men of military age were detained in areas that should have been evacuated. Videos from Israel's Channel 13 TV broadcast showed the detainees who were stripped down to their underwear with their hands in the air. Israeli military spokesman Daniel Hagari stated that this is to ensure they are not hiding any sort of explosives. While the north deals with detainees and continuous fighting as Israel makes arrests, the southern region of Gaza has been facing harsh humanitarian conditions. Israel has only allowed small amounts of aid into Gaza, with the UN being unable to distribute it among fighting. Severe shortages of food, water, and other basic goods have left Palestinians struggling since they fled south. Israel designated safe zones for civilians to flee to. However, according to reports, these areas are still facing airstrikes. Rafah Crossing, the border between Egypt and Gaza, even suffered an airstrike early morning on December 11th. The strike resulted in the death of 9 people, with 8 of them being women. Civilians fear a repeat of the mass exodus that occurred during a war in 1948, known as the First Arab-Israeli War, which resulted in the expulsion of over 700,000 Palestinian Arabs. In the war's third month, the death toll has now shot over 17,900, with the majority of them being women and children, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Keep in mind that they do not differentiate, however, between civilian deaths and combatant deaths. An approximate number of 1,300 people died on Israeli side, with the majority of that number coming from the initial attack that sparked the war on October 7th. This includes 104 soldiers who were killed during the ground offensive in Gaza, and Hamas still has 117 of the 240 people that were taken hostage during the October 7th attack.
In Las Vegas, a motor vehicle incident involving a tow truck results in the death of a pedestrian. Rory Roselle has the details.
Over the weekend, a pedestrian succumbed to their injuries after they were hit by a tow truck in the East Valley, according to Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. On Sunday, just after 7 p.m., LVMPD received reports of a crash near the intersection of Nellis Boulevard and Sahara Avenue, involving a tow truck and a pedestrian. According to officers, the tow truck was traveling west on Sahara when the driver saw the pedestrian on the road and attempted to avoid hitting him, though police said that the truck driver applied his brake and swerved in another direction, but unfortunately still struck the pedestrian, who was identified as a 67-year-old man from Las Vegas. Emergency responders pronounced him dead at the scene. The tow truck driver remained at the scene, and police said that impairment does not appear to be a factor in this incident. LVMPD would like to remind drivers and pedestrians to follow all traffic control devices and for pedestrians to utilize the well-lit and clearly marked crosswalks during the holiday season.
A man is arrested after police say he is acting suspicious. RJ Camacho has more on the story.
On December 10th, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were conducting a routine patrol when they observed a male, later identified as Eric Hemphill, allegedly acting in a suspicious manner. According to the declaration of arrest, Eric had pressed against a van in what officers said seemed like an attempt to hide. Officers then attempted to get a better look at Eric. However, he allegedly then took a few steps away from the van and then began walking away from it in a fast pace. Officers then conducted a stop on Eric due to the suspicious behavior. During the stop, officers gave verbal commands for Eric to stop. However, he allegedly immediately began to fidget and was not listening to instructions from the officer. Eric allegedly reached into his right pants pocket. However, this resulted in officers taking Eric to the ground as Eric allegedly disregarded commands to stop. After putting Eric in restraints, officers conducted a search of his person where they allegedly located a BB gun that looked like a realistic semi-automatic firearm, as well as a small plastic baggie that contained a small white crystalline substance identified as methamphetamine. Officers also allegedly found a smoking pipe as well as the methamphetamine. Eric Hemphill was then arrested and booked into the Nye County Detention Center under the charges of resisting a public officer, possessing a Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance, and use or possession of drug paraphernalia.
'Tis the season for Toys for Tots toy drives. We'll tell you about one that just took place right after the break.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. A Toys for Tots toy drive took place on Saturday night at Ovation in the Mountain Falls area. News 25 was there and covered it all.
We started this about 2 months ago, Toys for Tots Drive. One of our neighbors did a flyer for me, and we had an e-blast sent out. It was put on our calendar, and we have a Facebook, Friends of Ovation. It was placed out there. And members of our residents here all donated all the toys and bicycles and scooters for children here in Pahrump, Nevada. And I call them my Ovation Angels because everybody really just came through for this fantastic organization. I want to thank everybody here at Ovation that sat there and donated all the wonderful time and monies and gift cards and toys, and the children are going to be very, very blessed this Christmas.
Once again, I work with the Marine Corps League for Toys for Tots, and the Toys for Tots here in Pahrump started in 2005. Our season to run is through October the 1st through December the 21st. People go to the Nevada Outreach, or they come to our warehouse either to fill out applications for toys, and all the toys that are collected here stay in Pahrump. Now, we do receive other items from outside of Nevada that go to the Indian tribes, but that's a totally separate program. A lot of people get that mixed up, and I just want to make it clear that all the toys collected here do go to the individuals here in Pahrump. Well, Toys for Tots started with the Marine Corps Reserve in, I think, 1974. I've been involved with the Marine Corps League here in Pahrump since 2005. I became the commandant for the league 3 years ago, and I've been working at Toys for Tots every year for the last 3 years.
I was first contacted by Kathy to set up this event. I presented it to our lieutenant, who in turn had me speak to the sheriff's wife, Tammy McGill. Kathy spoke to her and went from there to where we are now.
Our local coffin makers held a business tour over the past weekend. News 25 was there to talk to Brian Schoening and electronic artist Gabe Smith for more.
Okay, so here at Coffinwood, we're going to be doing a second Saturday. So every second Saturday of every month, we're going to be doing a vending opportunity and possibility of doing tours here at Coffinwood. And today is a call to vendors, just to have some of the vendors, local vendors, come out and check out and see, some of the opportunity they might have to come out to Coffinwood and actually do some vending, looking for the creepy crawly type that kind of fits our venue out here. So far, I've gotten a pretty warm response. We've got some tarot readers and have had actually some of the local populace come out and take tours. So it's been a good response so far. I know it's cold and not real conducive to being outside right now, but still a good trial run to see how everything is going to fit, and also try out the USS Coffinwood, which is a newly acquired mobile vending spot, so that vendors can set up and have a nice little indoor place that's out of the heat or in the heat right now, and be able to actually set up a small booth and be able to vent to the folks that are coming out to take tours. We've been doing Coffinwood tours for I want to say close to 10 years now. Basically, it's been word of mouth, and now we've actually moved up to actually doing some advertising. Thank you to Gabe Smith for assisting with putting together flyers for us and the online version of Coffinwood and Coffin It Up. And that's been a very good response to that. And we know going into the Christmas season, it's not necessarily the dark, spooky time of year, but it's always good to have a little dark all the time. To be able to do tours in the future, currently right now when you come on site, when we're doing the second Saturday, we're doing the small version of the tours. The real tours that we book online at Coffinwood.Pahrump.com, those are a 2-hour tour, and you can book them online there. We take all major credit cards and all that fun stuff too at that point in time. And then there's wares to sell when you get here.
It is always such an honor to be out and playing in the community. It makes me so happy. It fills my heart doing my purpose in this life and getting to do it here at Coffinwood. I'm very grateful to play here every month and be a part of everything that's going on here. Today we did something really unique. A few weeks ago we did a lighting ceremony with all the Christmas lights, and my wife and I wrote an original score. Today we have tapped in the output from my concert to the entire lighting system of the compound. So not only are my stage lights going nuts with the music, the entire compound is going nuts with the music too, and it has been so much fun, and I'm so grateful to be able to do these kind of things. So I got into being a electronic artist actually at a very young age. My brother was deeply into the rave scene in the Northeast. I grew up in Boston, and the after parties was always at my brother's house. And I learned how to mix and spin from a Creative Records that he didn't want anymore. And I actually couldn't afford my own turntables, so I used cardboard boxes and recreated turntables from pictures of them on the internet and taught myself how to mix. And I saved up a lot of money from skateboarding to be able to get my first set of equipment, and my picking up my first set of equipment off layaway was on my way to a skate demo that I was performing at, and technically my first time ever using my own equipment was my first live show.
Coming up, we'll take a look at sports with Mikey, also talk with Pat Lemming from Never Forgotten Animal Society. Stay with us.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back. Here's Mikey with your look at sports.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports. The Raiders were involved in a nail-biter on Sunday, welcoming the Minnesota Vikings. Let's get to the riveting footage, shall we? Fourth quarter, Joseph with the field goal attempt, and it's good. Vikings go on to win by the same score, 3-0. The last time that happened, 16 years ago, Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Miami Dolphins 3-0, November 26, 2007. The Raiders welcome the LA Chargers this Thursday. Golden Knights had no problem scoring over the weekend. They were in Dallas on Saturday against the Stars, victorious 6-1. Then they came home and beat the Sharks in a shootout, 5-4. Up next for them, Calgary Flames tomorrow night. The LA Lakers and the Indiana Pacers played in the in-season tournament. LeBron and company took the title, 123-109. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
Pat Lemming from Never Forgotten Animal Society is here to tell us the importance of vaccinating our dogs, which includes the parvo vaccine. There is currently an outbreak of parvo in our community, which can lead to the death of your dog if it is not vaccinated with the parvo vaccine.
Today's Rescue a Pet segment is brought to you by Realty Executives in Action. Put the team at Realty Executives in action for you.
Hi, everyone. This is Pat with Never Forgotten Animal Society at 3091 North David Street in Pahrump. I'm here today to try and give everybody in the community a heads up about a outbreak in parvo here in the valley. I've been in the rescue business for 6 years now, and this is one of the most horrendous seasons I've ever seen for parvo. We really need you to have your dogs vaccinated every year for parvovirus. This is a horrible way for an animal to die. And if it's not caught early, it is almost 100% fatal. So please, at your best time, get your animals rabied, vaccinated with parvo and bordetella. There's also now an outbreak of upper respiratory going around that seems to be antibiotic resistant. It can be deadly. So again, please make sure your animals are all up to date on their shots. Parvo is very prevalent here in the valley, and it is everywhere. So don't assume that because the animals never leave your property that you are not vulnerable or he is not vulnerable to the virus, because he is, or she. So you're welcome to come by and get information on the parvo vaccine. You're also welcome to go to any vet's office and get information on updates. There are 2 shot clinics in Pahrump every month. There's one at Canine Camp at Blag and Basin, and they have it on the 3rd Saturday of every month. And then Jam Veterinary Services also has a vaccination clinic available. You may want to call them and get that information. So please vaccinate your animals. It is absolutely critical this year because of the parvo outbreak. We're losing a lot of puppies and we're losing a lot of older dogs who have not been vaccinated. So please step forward, guard your babies, and get them vaccinated. If you have any questions, please give me a call, 775-764-9070. Thanks a lot.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Look outside at the Lerner and Rowe weather cam. Sure looks pretty. I didn't want to get out of bed this morning. I'm not kidding. It felt so good under those blankets. Well, we'll find out what the weather has in store for us for the rest of the week. John's in next.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, all up and down the Ace Country Radio Network and to your mobile device, wherever you are, 24 hours a day, www.kpvm.tv. 8 big channels of digital entertainment, lots of fun. Out in Fernley, it hit 50 degrees. Fallon, 48 degrees. You're the cool spot winner. Congratulations. This rarely happens. Carson City at 49. Feels pretty good. We got Weather Twins mid-map. Tonopah Goldfield at 53. Checking in there at Beatty, it's 63 degrees. 65 in Amargosa makes you kind of a room temperature hot spot. And Vegas close behind at 61. Death Valley hit 70, and that feels just about shirt sleeve weather here in the Paradise Pahrump. Let's take a look at our current temperature, 56 degrees, not too shabby, just a little bit warmer, a little bit earlier at 62. And those cloudy skies, it's a beautiful day, actually. No rain to speak of. Humidity just at 17%. Sun rose this morning in all its glory, hope and promise of a new day at 6:44. Set this evening at 4:29. We wish it was still here. We get plunged into darkness in a big way around here. Heading down to low tonight at 35 degrees. But it was a gorgeous sunset. As we head on into the rest of the week, we got clouds? No, we got sunshine. Lots of sunshine. Well, for a couple days, 63 degrees, 61 next couple days. Clouds start creeping in on Thursday, and temperatures start creeping up. Head into the weekend, mid-60s, and kind of continue that trend under cloudy skies, but no real talk of rain, and the winds staying under control at a 5-mile-per-hour pace throughout the week. It's going to be kind of a nice little weather week for if you like the fall weather, and I do. Back to the desk. Here's Missy Kohler.
Oh, those chilly nights. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Missy Kohler. Thank you so much for watching News 25. We hope you have a great night.